All right. Well, welcome back to another Shifting Schools free webinar. I'm so excited to be here along with Trisha Friedman, my co-host of the podcast and partner over at Shifting Schools. It's so excited to be back here with you. And today we are going to tackle, probably like everybody else right now in the education technology world, we're going to be looking at ChatGPT. Trisha, how are you doing this morning? Well, the morning here in Seattle, almost afternoon there in Ottawa. How are you doing today?
Getting close. Yeah, I'm doing well. It's Friday. We have this brand new free guide out. Again, lots of folks who subscribe to our free newsletter. You can sign up for it too over at shiftingschools.com. Um, I think, we're noticing some of the guidance we were giving around generative AI tools like ChatGPT. And they were saying, we would love just a comprehensive collection of some strategies to explore that save us time and energy. We know that those are huge, especially right now in February. I don't know about you, Jeff, but February for me is like when I feel my energy dip. So anywhere I can save a little time, that's really useful, I think.
It's the push to spring break. That's what this time of period is. Like, I just got to get there. So today we're going to be focusing on the idea of you teachers. How can you use this? We talk a lot about kids. There's a million ways that kids can use this, but today we want to focus in on educators. And just how you can leverage this to save you a little bit of time. You can scan that QR code. It'll be coming up back a couple different times throughout today's session. I do, real quick before we get into this, want to thank our sponsors, Mac and Maker and STEM Sports, for sponsoring this. Please check out all of our offers over at shiftingschools.com/offers, or you can find it under the podcast tab there. We really appreciate our sponsors making this available to you for free. All right, Trisha, we've got to set up our protocol. We know that Trisha and I love our structures and our protocols. So here's what it's going to be. We're going to go through three things very quickly. We're going to set timers. Let me grab my phone for each other. We've got 90 seconds to tell you what your time-saving tip is and how you would extend that. What would be the next thing that you would do? So I'm setting my timer here, Trisha. Tell me when you're ready, or I forget who's going first. Am I going first?
You volunteered to go up
Okay.
first, my friend. So I've
Oh,
got the timer
oh, you
ready
got
to
the timer
roll.
set.
I've got 90 seconds on the clock. I will start humming if you go over time to keep you to our 90-second parameter. So Jeff, are you ready?
All right, here we go. Our first one is ask ChatGPT to set a schedule for you, and you can even tell it to include checkboxes. So here we went into ChatGPT and we said, here is a revised schedule for the weekend in table format. Include checkboxes and spaces for notes to take during that weekend. And so you can even tell it what time you want to wake up, what time you want to go to bed. It will actually lay out. So this is like a weekend schedule where I love that it even includes socializing with friends and what that might be. You could actually go in, and this is the thing that I keep thinking about with ChatGPT, right? I keep thinking of it as a thought partner. How do you extend it? Asking it one thing is great, but being able to then go in and say, well, actually, I like to eat dinner at 6:30. All you have to say is, will you revise this schedule with dinner at 6:30? Can you add 2 hours in there for, lunch? Or I want to get outside and go for a walk. Can you recommend a 2 hour or a 1 hour area to put a walk in? And it will just constantly remake it until you get it to where you want. Then you copy paste it into whatever platform. If this was me, being a teacher and I'm doing this on the weekend, I probably would copy and paste this directly into, say, Google Keep, and be able to then have it on my phone when I'm walking around. Just such a great way to build a schedule. And of course, it doesn't just have to be on the weekends. You could ask it to build a schedule during the week. Kids could ask it to build a schedule for their day. Hey, build a schedule where I have baseball practice at 3:30 to 5 o'clock. And what's the other time around that? Trisha?
That's time.
Yes.
So, and Jeff, I would say too, often we have parents and caretakers who they need some help in having their child be a little more organized. And I think time management, if you're 11, if you're 16, it's so abstract, right? It's tough
Yeah.
for me to really understand, okay, if I have, this project, this task, this paper, band practice, how do I organize it? I think this is a really great way as a starting point, right? Put
Right.
it to ChatGPT, ask it to build that schedule, and as you were saying, like tweak it.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a group of students who are working on a project together, tell ChatGPT, like, this is how much time we have. These are all the aspects of the project. Build us a schedule.
I love that. I love that. There's so many great ways to have it build a schedule. And then you even talk with your kids about it, right? Like, hey, do we like this schedule? Where can we tweak it? Ah, so good. So good. All right. Again, we're just going to go over 3, but you can download Trisha because Trisha's amazing, as you all know, has already made a free guide that's got 7 of these. That if you scan that QR code, you can download. It has more than what we're going to share here today. But Trisha, you're up next. You've got 90 seconds. Tell me when you're ready to go.
I am ready to go now.
Here we go.
Okay, note-taking templates. Just like what Jeff was talking about with building a schedule, those organizational, those self-management skills that students need to have our support with, for me, I'll be honest, like, it's not the most exciting thing that I need to do as an educator, but it's still support that's really important. So, I would highly recommend when you head over to ChatGPT, there's all different note-taking templates that you can invite it to create. So the example that you see in front of you is I've asked it for a note-taking template that's specific to a book. I've said, "Can you give me a note-taking template for 7th graders for the book The Hate You Give?" And when ChatGPT was responding, they even recognized the author. That was great. And I can continue to tweak this, right? Because it might not have all of the elements that I want students to focus on. I can also use this, you know, if I know that I have a guest speaker coming in or my students are going on a field trip
Ooh, I
or
like
they
that.
have an exam around a certain topic, great, create this template. And for me, this is a really great organizational skill set moment where I would pass this out to students and say, how do we make this better? I
Hmm.
am not suggesting that ChatGPT is going to give you the best product, but it certainly is going to give you a starting point, and I think that's a great time-saving trick.
Time. Nicely done. Wow.
Whew.
Woo, we're nailing this today. That must have had enough coffee this morning. Uh, I just love that, and I think your point is the way that we use Chat GPT. It's not going to be perfect, and nor do we want it to be. Right? It's not human, and I think the thing we have to remember is that the GPT, the P stands for it's pre-trained. It is not learning from us. It has already been trained on a set of data. So it's doing the best it can based on a set of data that it was already trained on. Our goal, like you said, is take this, ask it to do a note taking template, and then give it to your kids. And how do we improve it? What did it get wrong? What did it get right? What maybe there's something in there you didn't even think about. I know I asked it to write a description for a session that I'm doing at a conference coming up. And the thing that blew me away is it included things that I didn't even think about including. And then I had to go and go like, oh, that would be something really cool to include in this session. And I had to rework the entire session because I had a thought partner in Chat GPT. I even got a different title that was way better than the title I came up with. It's just incredible. And again, that's the idea. Is it's not just take it and use it. Take it, and then we start asking ourselves, how do we adapt it? How do we make it better? What does this do for us? So cool. I just love that idea. And time saving, I mean, come on. You just takes what did it take Chat GPT to make that 5 seconds?
Faster than it took me to type
Type it.
in the prompt,
Yeah,
right?
I know. It's just
And again,
unbelievable.
even when I'm making those suggestions, you know, when folks download the free guide and watch me go through that, you'll also see I will often play around with tone, right? I will ask ChatGPT, give me that template, please add emoji and make the tone a little less formal, right? Again, in terms of that thought partner, those revision things that you can ask it to do, that process I think is really great to do in front of students, in
Yeah,
collaboration with students. How can we make this better? You know, and again, I think that's gonna spark a really great conversation about what's the point of note taking? How much structure do we need and
I love
when do
that.
we need it? You know, and again, which are the questions that it might be missing out on?
Yeah.
I could also go back and I could say, rewrite this note-taking template, focus on conceptual understandings.
Mm.
So, lots of stuff that you can play around with, but I would say invite your students into that conversation because they're gonna come up with some really great revisions and prompts too.
Yeah, and I think again, you can scan that QR code to download the free resource that Trisha just made. And not only did she put together a resource because it's Trisha, she also put together a video walking you through the ways that you can extend each of these. The woman doesn't sleep, I'm telling you. That's all she does is make free PDFs for you all to share and enjoy. Please make sure that you hit her up at Trisha Freed on Twitter. Her handle's there. Tell her thank you for making these. She does such an incredible job. All right, we've got one left, and it looks like we're actually going to stick to our limit today. We're going to get this whole thing done in under 15 minutes, Trisha. We're on fire today.
All right, are you ready for your 90 seconds?
All right, here we go. Ready? Last one. Here we go. The last one is to ask it to prepare a syllabus for you. Now, depending on where you're at, you're probably maybe just getting into second semester. You can ask it to actually create a syllabus or an outline of a unit. I was an elementary school teacher, and all I keep thinking about is like, how cool would it be that I'm getting ready to start a unit on the planets, and I can go in and say, hey, could you build me a syllabus for fourth graders around learning the planets of our solar system? And it gives me an outline. It gives me some place to start. It gives me something different than what I find in the curriculum guide. And now I can start to compare and contrast. I can see what it came up with, what I love to do with my kids, because of course I've already taught this before. But it's just, again, this idea of having a thought partner. I am getting ready, actually, Trisha, this is so cool. I didn't even think about this until you and I were talking about this, but I'm getting ready to create a syllabus for a master's degree class that I teach over at Whitworth University for MIT students. And I'm thinking, I need to rebuild that syllabus because, of course, everything's changed in ed tech. How great is it going to be that I'm going to go ChatGPT and say, hey, I need you to build me a syllabus for master's degree students who are masters in teaching students getting their master's degree around instructional technology. What is it that they need to know today? And being able to play off of that, what an incredible time saver. And again, it's not going to be perfect, but it gives me a place to start. How'd I do?
You've got 2 seconds. Well done.
Man,
well
fantastic.
done.
What are your thoughts around this? How would you extend this?
Well, Jeff, the one thing that you forgot though with that is, again, ChatGPT has cut off scraping all of the data from 2021, my friend. So
Right.
some of that might not help you.
Totally
However,
yeah.
and again, that's important for us to remember because I think that's a great conversation to have with students. Like, what's happened in this last year that, that data might not be within its network to use. But Jeff, the video for this also goes through, I've asked it, the example folks can see here is give me a syllabus for someone who wants to, they're a beginner with public speaking, essentially, right?
Right.
And I picked that because I think this is also really powerful. We often have students that want support in other interests that maybe aren't necessarily our area of expertise, but I want to show my students, hey, this is a starting point for you, right? Or you've got Genius Hour, or you have, MYP, PYP project coming up where students are maybe doing some research into areas where teacher isn't the expert. That's okay. Let's get a little bit of help. And in the video I go through after it creates the syllabus, I say, give me 3 books that complement this syllabus that were published between 2007 2019. I say, give me 3 podcast episodes. Now, Jeff, I listen to so many podcasts. So
Yeah.
I was like, what are you going to give me, ChatGPT? Because I'm a real critic of podcasts. I said, give me 3 podcast episodes published between 2018, 2021. The ones that it picked, great shows. Like
That's
I
cool.
I thought that was great. And then I said, create a letter for me to send to parents and caretakers, letting them know about this course.
Yeah.
So
Unbelievable.
the extension power, I think,
Yeah.
is super cool. And you've got students who want to be self-directed learners. This is going to really supercharge that, right?
Yeah. And you made me remember and understand. You're absolutely right. And I totally spaced on that, which is great, right? It's a new tool. We're all learning with it, but that there is this learning ability between 2021 and 2023. And I was just thinking about, I geek out a lot on, science, and we just had a green comet. Well, you can ask it about the green comet and it's going to give you what we knew 2 years ago. Not that you just could see it here in Seattle anyway, could see it outside. And so there's learning, especially if you're in some of those fields that are fast changing, say science, for example. You can have it and ask it questions knowing that you're going to get 2021 answers, but where does that go? But I also love your idea of like, go back in time. Like, I know 2021 is the end, but go back to 2018. What are some of the best podcasts from the past? So just so many great ways to get curious with it. And again, we've got this free guide over there that you can look at. We would love to hear more in the comments of this video. If you could leave a comment in the video about how you're using ChatGPT, how's it saving you time. Trisha, amazing way to just say, can you write me a letter for parents explaining X, Y, and Z? And then you just tweak it. And then you can go in and say, can you translate that into Spanish? And it'll translate it into Spanish. It's so cool the ways you can do it. So we're excited to see over in the comments, over on social media, what are some other great ways that you are using ChatGPT to save you time and energy? And of course, if there's anything that you need, you can always reach out to Trisha and I at info@shiftingschools.com. Trisha, I'll give you the last word today.
Just, thanks folks for reaching out. This was based on requests from listeners of the podcast, newsletter subscribers. So thank you for the request. And also, Jeff and I are humble, right? So if you're thinking, hey, you put together this list of 7, but you know what the number 1 should have been? It should have been this one. Let us know, right? Like we appreciate that feedback. If there's other ways that you feel like this is going to be really powerful, I think it's also important to think about it in our professional lives too. We're not just professionals, in our personal lives rather. So if you've got a great idea or something that you're using it for outside of the world of education, let us know. We really do love hearing from the community. So thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.